Superman is really something special, isn't he? To the public, no, but to me, yes. But with a title like Superman, the perfect superhero, you think I'm going to talk about how he's the most overpowered superhero and whatnot, but no. I'm here to talk about why Superman is the perfect representation of a superhero, and why he's lasted so long in pop culture. There are two main reasons as to why I would say he is the perfect superhero. Even though I've always had a bias for Batman because he's my all-time favourite, but it's also easier not to mess up. And with that, you kind of forget how amazing Superman really is. I personally got to see how amazing Superman is when rewatching some of the DCAU shows, such as Superman the Animated Series and the two Justice League shows. By the way, this is a video to fill in the gap from my Justice League Unlimited video to my Young Justice video I'm working on, since it's going to take longer than what I thought to get it done. Also, if you haven't seen those videos of mine, links are in the description. Those shows really tie into my points as to why Superman's the perfect superhero, and before I do that, make sure to support my Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to my new videos, and it also helps me out in between working on new videos, such as the Young Justice video I'm currently working on. With that, let's talk about why Superman's the perfect superhero. When you look at Superman's character, you notice that he's the opposite to superheroes like Batman, where their superhero aliases are their true selves. Superman's the opposite. Clark is who he actually is as a person, and Superman's the persona he puts on to help people, and the best sources of Superman material know this and understand this very well. Things like Richard Donner's Superman, Superman the Animated Series, the two Justice League shows, All-Star Superman and Superman vs. the Elite understand those things extremely well. The 1978 Superman movie and Superman the Animated Series show it in a very similar way, where they show you how he ended up on Earth, and that he was raised by the Kents out on a farm in Smallville. With that though, because Clark's being raised like any other normal person, he gets to learn from his parents what it means to be a good person, and even when finding out that he's from another planet that blew up, he's still human because he well and truly understands what it means to be human from his parents. His parents taught him what it means to be a good person, so when he finds out that he actually has many powers when on Earth, he decides to use them for good because he has the power to do so, and to help the people that don't have that kind of power. With that though, other things such as All-Star Superman and Superman vs. the Elite show us this in a different way. By the way, spoilers for the comic All-Star Superman and also for the movie Superman vs. the Elite. If you haven't seen or read those, what are you doing? Go read them and go watch them. All-Star Superman shows him in a situation where he finds out that he has an incurable disease that will eventually kill him, after saving a lab from an experiment of theirs near the sun. The disease actually keeps on giving him more and more powers throughout the comic, but whilst that's happening, he tries to give Lois Lane the best birthday she's had by giving her temporary superpowers, then gets to business to see if the disease can be cured. He finds out that it can't after trying to cure it time and time again, and when he accepts that, he decides to find someone that can replace him when he dies, and also when trying to do that, he tries to do many other things. Even with Superman being so occupied with doing as many things as possible before he dies, the comic shows that he still gives his time to the people that need it, and that couldn't be more evident with this panel, after he has to leave Lois to help Regan. She's about to try and end her life by jumping off a building, as Superman comes in and tells her that her doctor really did get held up in traffic. He tells her that it's never as bad as you think, and that she's much stronger than she thinks, where they hug. I personally love this moment because it shows that Superman will take the time to help the people that need it the most. Even when he's busy with something, he will still take that time to help them. With a panel like this, it isn't even about the powers. It's just about him caring about human lives and not wanting Regan to end hers because she has a life worth living. Throughout the whole comic, you see Superman taking the time out of his day to go and help others, and to even visit people that need him because he wants to bring people hope that they can get out of their situations. To get into Superman vs. the Elite, he has to eventually deal with the Elite, since they end up killing villains instead of doing the usual stick of beating them and then handing them into the authorities. People even end up siding with the Elite because they're taking out these big villains such as Atomic Skull, and are happy that villains can't cause them any more harm. They actually start to not like Superman as well because the Elite are doing what they think needs to be done in this day and age, and that Superman's living in the past. Superman then has to face them, and he does that in an interesting way after getting his ass kicked, where he seemingly goes nuts and kills most of the Elite. When getting to the leader, Manchester Black, he lobotomizes him, which gets rid of his powers, and then slaps him around, where he reveals that this is all set up to show everyone how disgusting this type of violence can be. He says that it's so easy to do, but he shows that he used all of his robots in the fortress to make sure that everyone's safe, and even that the rest of his team is still alive. Also, when Superman tells Manchester Black that they're going back to prison, this speech is fantastic.
Good. Dreams save us. Dreams lift us up and transform us into something better. And on my soul, I swear that until my dream of a world where dignity, honor, and justice are the reality we all share, I'll never stop fighting. Ever.
Honestly, that one speech alone explains why he's human, and also shows that he's a timeless character. With that, it actually ties into my next point, which is... This ties in with Clark being human, but there's more to it since after all he's Superman, and Superman's meant to show us how we can be our best selves through this character. Throughout the examples I've shown in the last point, he's meant to be a symbol of what we can be. Obviously without the powers. But he shows us that we have the power to be the best possible person we can be. The examples I've shown also show how Superman manages to struggle quite a lot with many different things that are thrown his way, but manages to overcome them. Sometimes the way he overcomes them isn't the best way to do it, but he learns from those experiences and continues to try and become the best person he can be. It's why that TikTok with a guy dressed up as Superman with the David Bowie song Starman in the background got so popular. It just shows how many people really look up to Superman and see him as the best of us. And hell, that even worked in the video where the people love being around the guy dressed up as Superman because he's doing what Superman would do. And that is being friendly with the people he sees and showing that he actually cares about them as people by spending time with them. I'll be honest, my first point kind of ties in with the second point, but I wanted to talk about the TikTok because it comes up on Twitter from time to time. It's just such a surprise that TikTok can show people what Superman really means to people when only a few movies and shows do that well. With that though, I want to talk about one last final thing, and that is...
Goodbye, old friend. In the end, the world didn't really need a Superman. Just a brave one.
I love this speech. For a bit of context though, in this episode, which is Apocalypse Now Part 2, Darkseid comes to Earth to find the anti-life equation, and as Superman makes him leave, Darkseid uses his Omega beams on Dan Turpin, who's a member of the Metropolis Special Crimes Unit, which kills him. Throughout the show, the two of them have had their differences, but at the end of the day, they both respected each other since they were both out to do the right thing. They had a few run-ins with each other, but Dan even saved Superman in the episode Tools of the Trade. It just shows that even Superman can admit that the world doesn't need him, but it needs people like Dan since he was a brave person. We get to see that throughout the show. Another cool detail I want to mention about this though is that this actually affects Superman later on in the show. Yeah, it comes back in the show's finale, after Superman was brainwashed by Granny Goodness to do Darkseid's bidding. When Superman finally snaps out of the brainwashing, he goes to Apocalypse to deal with him on his home turf, and when punching him, he mentions,
That's for Dan Turpin. Who? The good man you murdered.
It just shows how much he cares about people, and especially someone that he could consider a friend, since the two of them ended up having a good relationship in the show. Superman really is the personification of being the best possible version of yourself. Someone that will take the extra step to be the better person, no matter how much harder that is to do, compared to trying to take the shortcuts. And a lot of people forget that. Honestly, go out in public or go talk to someone that you know and ask them what they think about Superman, and they'll tell you that he's boring. Honestly, from the way he's been portrayed for the past 10 years, I can see why they think that, since the Snyderverse portrayed him as a boring, overpowered character and didn't take much time to show his human side. When they do though, it all just falls flat because it isn't natural or doesn't feel believable in the slightest. I gotta say, I feel bad for Henry Cavill because he looks the part, but got given such bad scripts to work with. Which I hope James Gunn takes the time to do that, and I have faith that he will, because I like all of his movies so far. There's not one I dislike. Even though I like Batman more as a character because of personal bias, there is no denying that when Superman's done right, it really is something special. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video of me blabbling on about Superman. And if you did, you know what to do. Give it a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. Also, I know you were expecting the Young Justice video, but that should be coming out in the next few weeks. I'm gonna be honest, I lost a lot of motivation to work on that video, so that's why I kind of wanted to change things up and work on this video instead. Also, coincidentally, when I had no motivation to work on that video, I injured myself to where I couldn't walk. But because of that, I was just tired all the time and I had no motivation to work on this video. But I'm reassuring you now that I'm hard at work on the video, and I'm just uploading this video to fill in the gap. Lastly, if you do want to get more frequent updates as to what's going on with the channel and everything, I would recommend supporting the Patreon or the channel memberships for as little as $1 a month. And with that, you'll get early access to new videos for $1 a month. And anyways, I shall see you on the next video.